going to go ahead and create this video on how to create an analogous fade in oil pastels. So as you see here, I have all of my oil pastels. They're prepped and wrapped. I have a piece of paper underneath my Technique piece of paper just to use as a scratch off piece and also to collect little oil pastel crumblies. I'm going to go ahead and choose a color to blend with this that is analogous to red, and I'm going to clean it off really quickly before I get started. So when I clean off my oil pastel, the whole point of this is to check the top and the side for any additional color of oil pastel that sometimes gets stuck there. Oil pastels are really sticky, so they attract all kinds of other colors. You often see them as like little tiny flecks of other color when you put them down on the page. So you're going to rub the sides of your oil pastel on your scratch off piece. You're going to rub the top of it on your scratch off piece. And when it looks super clean, it's ready to go. You're ready to start blending. And so what I have here is I have a base fade, or just a color faded out to the white of the paper. I like to often do a demonstration in red. Red is one of my favorite colors to demonstrate in. It's a great medium range color. And I spent some time working on what I call a base fade. So this is just one color that fades out gradually to the white of the paper using different types of pressure, right? So the harder I press, the darker the tone here. And as I go across my page, more and more of the white of the paper starts to show through. I went back and kind of matched my edges, and so now I'm ready to choose a color that's analogous. Now, analogous colors are side by side on the color wheel. One color goes into the creation of the other. They are besties. They have something in common. So for mine, I already laid down my red oil pastel. Orange is next to red on the color wheel. Red goes into the creation of orange, so they have that in common. So I know if I blend them together that nothing bad is going to happen. I'm not going to get a neutral color or something that's icky and yucky. They're going to make kind of new colors together on the page. Now, I don't have a color wheel in front of me to share with you what all the different analogous colors, but if you think of the acronym Roy G. Biv, okay, so red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So if you think about that, that's kind of your color wheel order, if you will. So you can just kind of remember that if you don't have a color wheel in front of you. So orange is next to red. I'm going to go ahead and add my orange from the other side. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is press pretty hard with the orange right until about here when there's no longer any flecks of white, and I'm going to fade it out right before I get to my pure red. So I should, when I'm done, have an area of pure orange on the side, or an area of pure red, and all of these areas that mix together that create different versions of red-orange. So I'm pressing pretty hard with this. Remember, the beauty of the oil pastel is that it really has this intense color that you can't get with a crayon. And as I go across, I'm still pressing pretty hard, and you'll notice as I get here, I have less and less white of the paper showing through. So I'm going to start to let up my pressure, let up my pressure, let up my pressure, let up my pressure, and off right before I hit the red. So I have something right now that is basically this fiery red-orange. Now I would go back in and fix my edges, and then I'm going to do something that is called a sweep, okay? Or I call it a sweep anyway. All that means is that I'm going to come back through with my base fade, the color that I used as my base fade, which is my red. And I'm going to do sort of a lighter version of my initial fade on top. So hard, medium, and light. And what that's going to do is just bring back a little bit more of that red and really make for a fade that is, color fade that looks pretty good. It's going to look a little bit more dramatic, which I like in my fades a lot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick, and we will see what we end up with. And if anybody has noticed, this red is trying to wiggle out of the wrapper on me. It's broken in the middle, and that's another reason why you want to wrap your oil pastels, because basically if you, this wrapper would have already been busted in half by now if I didn't have the tape on there. So it basically helps me hold the broken pastel a little bit better. All right, so doing the sweep, hard pressure, medium pressure, lighter pressure, and off. Okay, and it just brings back a little bit of that red to kind of punch it up a little bit. Okay, make it a little bit more drama in the fade. Okay, so you'll notice I really can't see any of the white of the paper showing through. I'm using the oil pastel to highlight its magical powers and really create a color fade that looks pretty awesome.